For years, wood chips were treated like the final answer to mulching. Gardeners piled them on, waited, and hoped soil life would magically explode. But, something kept missing. Moisture improved, weeds slowed, yet the soil underneath still felt quiet. The breakthrough came the moment I stopped covering soil with dead material and started feeding it with living cover. Within weeks, earthworms multiplied, soil stayed cool without crusting, and plants began growing with a steadiness I had never seen before. This is not about replacing mulch, it is about upgrading soil from protected to alive. Why wood chips stall more than they build. Wood chips are carbon-heavy and slow to break down. That is useful in pathways, but in growing beds they often tie up nitrogen while decomposing. Soil life slows as microbes fight for balance. Plants survive, but they rarely thrive. The soil stays covered, but not fed. Living mulch does the opposite. It feeds continuously instead of waiting to rot. What living mulch really means. Living mulch is not a product. It is a system where low-growing plants cover soil, shade roots, and actively feed microorganisms through their roots. Instead of soil biology waking up only when organic matter decomposes, it stays active every day. This creates soil that regulates itself. The plants that replaced everything else. White clover became the backbone of the system. It stays low, spreads gently, fixes nitrogen, and feeds microbes constantly. It does not compete aggressively when managed properly. Under fruit trees, between raised beds, and even alongside vegetables, it transformed bare dirt into breathing ground. Crimson clover, worked better in seasonal beds. It grows faster, adds a good amount of biomass, and can be cut back before planting. When left as surface residue, it actually replaces straw and wood chips entirely. Comfrey served as the nutrient pump. Its deep roots pull minerals upward, and its leaves become instant mulch when cut. It grows back rapidly and, never needs replanting. Low-growing grasses filled gaps where erosion used to happen. Their roots stabilize soil while allowing water to penetrate instead of just running off. When mulch is alive, the soil reacts in fascinating ways. The change, it always begins underground. Roots, you see, release these sugars that attract bacteria and fungi. And then those microbes get to work unlocking nutrients that are already present in the soil. Earthworms, they just naturally follow the moisture and food, and their tunnels aerate the soil better than any tool you could buy. Within just a single season, you'll notice the soil texture really starts to change. Compaction loosens up. Water soaks in instead of pooling on the surface. And, plants stop showing that stress between watering. The fear is always the same, isn't it? Folks wonder, will it steal nutrients from the crops? Honestly, the answer depends on management, not the mulch itself. So, living mulch is controlled by cutting, not removing. When clover or grasses grow too tall, they're simply cut and dropped right in place. This, feeds the soil and prevents competition. The roots stay alive underground, continuing their microbial exchange. This cycle, well, it turns growth into nutrition instead of waste. To speed up the transition, a microbial boost can help living mulch establish balance faster. Just mix 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses into 5 litres of water. Apply this directly to the soil once at the beginning of the system. It feeds the beneficial microbes without causing excessive growth. Now, here's something interesting. Do not repeat frequently. Once living systems are active, they really start to regulate themselves. It's amazing how a healthy ecosystem just kind of takes care of its own balance. So, you might be wondering, why do weeds stop becoming a problem? Well, living mulch, it actually occupies the space that weeds depend on. Bare soil, on the other hand, just invites invaders. But when the soil is covered, it sort of selects for stability. Over time, weed pressure drops, not because the plants are killed off, but simply because the ecosystem is full. And, the few weeds that do pop up are usually shallow-rooted and, honestly, really easy to remove. Moisture control without suffocation, that's really important. Wood chips insulate, but, they can trap moisture incorrectly. Living mulch, on the other hand, shades the soil while still allowing airflow. So the soil stays cool without becoming anaerobic. Roots can breathe, and fungi spread naturally. This balance is actually why diseases decrease instead of increase. And here's how yields quietly increase. The difference, well, it's not explosive growth, it's consistency. Plants grow steadily without those stressful spikes. Fruit sets more evenly. Leaf colour, it stays deep green without the need for constant feeding. There comes a point when the garden stops demanding our constant attention and, well, starts cooperating with us. It just sort of thrives on its own, especially when you have living mulch in place. It becomes a low-maintenance haven, really. So, why does this system scale anywhere? Well, living mulch adapts to the climate instead of, fighting against it. In hot regions, it actually cools the soil. In wet regions, it improves drainage. And in poor soil, it builds structure even faster than those imported amendments. It's pretty remarkable. The beauty of living mulch is its versatility. It works in raised beds, orchards, containers, and open ground. No matter where you garden, it just fits right in. The mistake most gardeners make is that they treat mulch as a layer instead of, well, a relationship. The soil doesn't actually need to be covered, it needs to be fed. And, living mulch does both at the same time. Once this really clicks, going back to dead mulch honestly feels like stepping backward. If this has changed how you see soil forever, go ahead and subscribe to Nature's Blueprint. Share this with a gardener you know who's still fighting weeds and dry beds, and let's help spread systems that work with nature, not against it.